love lights today. So, whenever I start a talk, if you've never seen me talk before, I always start off with saying, hello, all you love lights. And the reason is because I see each of you as a love light. And part of the reason I see each of you as a love light is because of a dream that I had that I'm going to share with you. Okay? So I call this my dream because it was really realistic, so I don't know if I was really dreaming or not, but this is what happened. I was on an alien spacecraft, okay? And there was a hologram of the Earth in front of me. And on that hologram of the Earth, there were lights. There were lights all over the Earth. And then all of those lights were connected with other lights by lines of lights. And the aliens were not speaking to me in words, but in concepts. But they wanted me to get 3 different concepts. The first being that when people have a high enough vibration, they come on grid. And when they're on grid, they light up. And so the second concept was that all people who are on grid are connected with all the other people who are on grid. And the third concept they were conveying to me was that it's very important that I stay on grid because I bring a lot of people on grid with the playful, fun way that I interact with the world. And so that was a pretty fun message to get. And if you're curious about what that hologram looked like, it's on the front page of my book, that's on the cover of my book that's downstairs that you can look at after the service. I've also been inspired by my dreams to write a song called Dreamin', and it's about a couple of really profound dreams that I have had. So I wanted to share this song with you at the beginning of my talk, and then we'll let the band go sit down in comfy seats. I've been dreaming. sit down and get comfy. Let's play. You can if you want. So, we'll bring Earth to an age of love, dreaming only in the light. And I'm not the only one that has that vision, or had that vision. I learned when I was preparing for this talk that the founding minister of this church, Chick Johnson, had something in common with me. He actually believed in two things. First, he believed that people could levitate. And second, he believed that people could connect in their dreamscape with each other. Did you guys know that about Chick? Norma might have, I don't know. So anyway, I led a dream connecting group in my living room for 14 months. And we were facilitating what we called dream crossover, where people have the same dream content on the same night. We ended up in that 14 months having 54 incidences of dream crossover between the members of the group. And we got better at it over time. So at first it was like once a month, but then after that it ended up being like almost every day that we were having dream crossover. It was really cool how we developed that skill. And I think that everybody has that skill. I don't think that I'm any better or more special than you are. I think you have that skill too. In Aboriginal tribes, they actually talk about their dreams in the mornings, and they really like use that dream guidance. And I kind of like the Aborigines, talk about my dreams more than most people. So I discovered one night that when I was telling my son about a dream, I discovered that he had had a dream. He and I both dreamed. I dreamed I was driving a car up a spiral walkway meant for people to walk on. He dreamed he was driving a car down a spiral walkway meant for people to walk on. In both of our dreams, we were a prisoner in like a prison camp, and in both of our dreams, we rebelled against the authority. So, you think that's coincidence? I don't think that could be coincidence. That's pretty specific, right? So I think all of you guys are doing it as well, and if you were to pay attention to your dreams, you would discover that you have dream crossover with other people, and probably that you're also having precognitive dreams. I had dreams that would come true as a child, and I thought it went away, but I just realized there's a big delay in it, and when I pay attention to my dreams, I notice that I'm actually having dream crossover. I'm sorry, precognitive dreaming. So scientists believe that we dream for several different reasons. First, they think we dream to live out our fantasies. Let's face it, it is not socially acceptable to do all the things that we have going on in our brain, right? Like, we can't do that stuff. So sometimes we dream to kind of live out those fantasies. We also dream to remember or to rehearse things. So think fight or flight skills, right? We aren't running from dinosaurs anymore, so those skills are not as fine-tuned as they would be if we were running from dinosaurs. But that clown that's running after you in the hall that's getting longer and longer, that guy is helping you, really, to keep your skills up to speed. We also dream to forget, believe it or not. Scientists have found that when you're in a dream state, your brain is letting go of old neural pathways that don't serve you anymore, that aren't really being used anymore, so that your brain is more efficient. And also, speaking of your brain, you really don't want your brain to completely shut down. So they think part of the reason we dream is kind of like a screensaver on your computer, so your brain doesn't shut completely down while you're sleeping. We also dream to heal from emotional trauma. They've found that you have less distress signals going off in your brain when you're dreaming about an incident that was a trauma than when you actually go through the trauma. So the theory is you're going through it again with less traumatic signals in your brain so that it's a healing process for you. And finally, they say that we dream to solve problems. And I don't think the scientists are wrong, but I do think that there is a whole other reason why we dream. And I believe we dream to get guidance from Spirit or Source or God. And in the Bible, it talks about 21 incidences where people got guidance from dreams. As a matter of fact, when King Herod was killing the firstborn son in all the families, there were 4 different dreams that helped to keep Jesus alive so that he could go on and be the master way shower that we all love and follow the example of. So, Vincent van Gogh said, "I dream of painting, then I paint my dreams." So he was having precognitive dreams too. which makes me kind of wonder if he had a nightmare about cutting off his ear before that happened. I don't know. So I get a lot of guidance from my dreams, and sometimes that guidance is symbolic and sometimes it's just straightforward. I had a dream recently about the way that I approach life, and this was the dream. I had to get to the other side of this busy road, okay? And it was like 10 lanes, and there were cars going really fast both ways. If I had tried to Frogger myself across the street, it would have been like jump, splat, game over. So I looked down the street for a crosswalk, and it was way down there. And I needed to get across the street. I had to meet somebody. So in life, roads represent our life path, right, in our dreams. So I remembered in my dream that there was a children's library underground, and that there was an entrance on this side, and there was an entrance on the other side. It was pretty cool. Very convenient for me, right? So libraries in dreams represent our thought process or our approach to life or our attitude about life. And because I'm very playful and childlike, I used my childlike skills to go under the busy road, and on the other side someone gave me some money. So that was a pretty cool message from Spirit about how I'm on the path to be able to make my life easier by thinking in a childlike way. Sometimes the dreams are more straightforward than that. I had a recurring dream once. Okay, I got that one off the internet, okay? It's a groaner, I know, it's a groaner. Okay, but I did have a recurring dream. About 5 years ago, I started having all these dreams that I was speaking on stages and staying at hotels. And I didn't know what was up with that. I was not a public speaker. I was a YOU sponsor at that time. I love the teenagers. They're my favorite people. I mean, you guys are my favorite people too, but I love teenagers too. So anyway, I was having these recurring dreams, and then all of a sudden, synchronicity set me up to be the camera girl at the Visionaries and Light Convergence. That Marilyn Harper comes and speaks at this church sometimes. You guys know her? Mm-hmm. She's a doll. I love her. And so she invited me to come be on the camera at her convergence in Hot Springs. And so I went to my room that night, and I was reading this meditation that we had been given during the day. It was a really powerful meditation, and I had a vision. Now, you may not have noticed, but dream and vision both have more than one definition. And they have a dual definition that matches, and it means to imagine. You dream of something, you imagine it. You vision something, you imagine it, right? So I think dreams and visions, especially in that place between sleep and wakefulness, there's a magic that happens there. So I'm sitting here meditating, and all of a sudden, Spirit says to me, go to Marilyn and tell her you're speaking at next year's convergence. And I was like, what? No. That's not happening. I'm not getting up in front of all these people. And besides, I don't tell anybody anything. I'm more of a may I please kind of person. But Spirit was very insistent. And so the next day I went up to Marilyn and I said, I've been informed that I'm speaking at next year's convergence. She said, okay, send me your proposal. And then I was, oh gosh, that was a nervous year, I tell you. But Spirit set me up with lots of speaking engagements to prepare for that. In fact, next year in Colorado, I got an 11-minute speaking spot. I did so well and got so much positive feedback from the audience and their evaluations that I was asked to come back the following year to do a 22-minute speaking spot. So, and all kinds of speaking engagements have just fallen in my lap. As a matter of fact, I would not be here visiting with you guys today if it wasn't for that vision that I had all those years ago. So that's pretty fun. Oh, yeah, so also, I'm not the only person who uses visioning to make things happen. You may not have known this, but Thomas Edison used to use dreams and visions to make his inventions or to come up with the ideas for his inventions. And this is how he would do it. His colleagues teased him because they said he was always taking cat naps. But what he would do is he would have a notebook pad and a pencil sitting on his lap, and he would sit in his rocking chair. And he'd put a metal bucket beside the rocking chair, and he'd have a rock in his hand. And he would let his arm dangle, and he'd sit there and rock back and forth until he fell asleep. And then when he fell asleep, his hand would relax, the rock would fall into the bucket, it would wake him up, and he would feverishly write all of his ideas. So we might not have these lights, We might not have movies. We might not have all the music that we have everywhere we go, which started with the phonograph, if it wasn't for dreams and dream guidance. So that's pretty cool, huh? So the Dalai Lama said that sleep is the best meditation. And that kind of surprised me when I saw that quote, because you hear stories about Buddhist monks who hit their students with a stick when they fall asleep when they're meditating, right? Don't you think the Dalai Lama needs to send out a memo about that? I mean, those poor guys, getting hit with a stick. But we're going to do a meditation today. And I promise, if you fall asleep, I'm not going to hit you with a stick. Actually, the kind of part of the point of this meditation is to get you in a state of sleepiness so we can kind of access that magic that happens in the space between dream and wake. There are blank pieces of paper in the pews there, and if you just set a piece of paper, if you have a pen, if you don't have a pen, hold your hand. I have a lovely Vanna White volunteer here to pass out pens to people who don't have pens. It would be lovely to get those back later. So just kind of like Thomas Edison, you want to set that down next to you or in your lap where you're not really holding onto it with your hands. And we're going to get you guys some dream guidance or some vision guidance about your life path or about where spirit is leading you. Where spirit is leading you. Yes. So, are we ready? Are we ready for this adventure?
Here's paper here.
No. We got it?
Here.
Oh,
Any pen here. Has everybody got pen?
We're all good? Yes, you are all good. That's not a question, that's a statement. You're all good. And we're all ready now, right? Sure. Okay. So we're going to sit down. Yeah. It's hard to meditate standing up. It really is. So what I'd like you to do is to start off by just gently closing your eyes, if you feel comfortable with that. And I want you to take in a deep breath through your nose and release it through your mouth and just blow out any cares or concerns of your day. And take in another deep breath through your nose, release it through your mouth, and just blow out anything that doesn't serve your relaxed state. Do that one more time, in through your nose and out through your mouth. And now I want you to allow your breathing to just settle into a natural, relaxed state. You can even breathe like you breathe when you're sleeping, if you would like to. And I want you to start by relaxing the top of your head. And then relax your forehead. And consciously relax the place behind your eyes. Relax your jaw. Let your tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. Relax the back of your head and your neck. Keep breathing like you're sleeping. Now relax your shoulders and your arms. Now relax your chest and your belly. And your upper and your lower back. Relax your buttocks and your thighs, and your shin and your calves. Relax your feet. Now we're just going to do an all-over body check. Just feel that relaxation, just to make sure tension didn't get back in. And we're going to take about 1 minute in the silence to let you just settle in and breathe and get more relaxed. You should gently put your attention back on your breathing. And take a deep breath. And at the end of the out breath, I want you to gently, with a soft gaze, open your eyes. And look at your paper. And I want you to just write down any ideas that come to you. Just jot down any, just stream. It doesn't matter if it's silly or if you think you can't do it. Any thoughts or ideas that come to you, just write them down. About 30 more seconds to kind of finish up those thoughts. And it's okay if nothing came to you. You might not have gotten into that deep of a relaxed state for things to come to you. But now you have a tool to put into your toolbox to use for future when you're looking for guidance. There's one more reason that I believe that dreams are guiding us. And that can be found in the phenomenon called lucid dreaming. And what lucid dreaming is when you discover that you're dreaming while you're dreaming, and you take control of your dream. And I believe that that is a roadmap for the waking world. Because we're waking up in this world. And we're waking up to all those abilities that Jesus was teaching us that we could do. The alchemy of changing water to wine, and the healing, and the making his voice be able to be heard by a bunch of people. All of these abilities that he was telling us, you can do these works and greater works will you do. All of these are innate abilities within us, including precognitive dreaming and dream crossover and lucid dreaming to get guidance. And so I think Chick Johnson was right. I think we can levitate. We just push our energy against the ground and float up if we can just wake up to the fact that in this waking world, we're really dreaming, that we're not as powerful as we are. Khalil Gibran said that you should trust in your dreams, for in them lies the gateway to eternity. It is my greatest hope that this talk has given you possibly some guidance through the meditation you did, or at least a tool to help you get guidance in the future, so that you can do your part to bring Earth to an age of love, dreaming only in the light.